mathematically you can warp the fabric of space. Like there's equations that show like this is theoretically possible, but it requires so much energy to do that. Like, so if there really are like, if UFOs or some UFOs are actually really aliens coming from another star system here, and they're doing it fairly regularly, which they would have to be for even like, a third of like the authentic sounding reports to be true. They've maybe been doing it like all of human history or before
billions of years before we were even here. Yeah.
So for them to be making these trips regularly, or even one of these trips, they would have to harness a huge amount of energy on a regular basis, like all the time. Like this is routine for them.
Or have a type of energy that we don't have.
True. So, but if you think about like threatening scenarios, like we're going to invade you, why do people? Well, we can only think about it in human terms, but why do humans invade other countries and stuff? It's because they want a resource, and usually that's a resource tied to energy. But if you can create that much energy on a regular basis to be able to warp space and travel through space and maybe even time, like there's nothing we have that they need.
Yeah, there is stuff that we have that they need. Do you want to know what my theory is?
Sorry. Yes, I would.
Hydrogen, water.
Yeah.
But
think about the energy that they just now said that they can, like how much energy they can take from one hydrogen atom, right?
I think you could synthesize anything you need if you can create that much energy to be able to warp space.
I would suspect that they would be coming to collect like actual bits and pieces of our genetics, like that they would be harvesting.
That's one of the theories too.
Especially enslaving us.
Especially if they're from us from the future, which is one of my favorite theories too.
I love that.
As that it's like maybe we've like messed with our bodies so much that they're like, okay, this sucks.
Yeah.
let's go back to human classic. Mm-hmm. Because they realize they've lost something.
Like reset to human version 1 instead, because iHuman 4 is just completely borked.
Right. Yeah, basically. Yeah. They need a system reboot, so they need some of that nice classic human DNA.
So here's a thought experiment. We always view space travel as within a vessel, but what if space itself is the vessel?
Oh, damn.
The ability to carve out a section of space and fold it so that that little pocket is what you move around in, so that you can break the rules of existing in that space. And then you open it back up.
Well, yeah. Look at all the dark matter.
I need to think about that all. I'll tell you my dark matter theory, which kind of brings us to the shadow person thing a little bit, maybe that we didn't record. But
we don't want to forget the kids.
My theory with dark matter, and who knows, is that like it might be caused by alternate universes bumping up against us. That like, so we're like looking for this thing in our universe, and we're like, where is it? Why can't we know it has a gravitational effect on stuff, and we can only observe its gravitational effect, but we can't find it. We can't find a thing that is causing the gravitational waves or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, duh, they're not in this universe.
Right.
They're in like the one next door, but it's like they're bumping up against each other, so it's like the stuff in that universe is pulling on the stuff in this universe.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but to me, I feel like that's obvious. I don't know why. Like some stuff, I feel like it's like you just kind of feel like it's true, and that's how I feel about that.
So let's theorize for a minute. Like there is a theory about what makes consciousness itself possible, and that theory is that on our unconscious level we're all sort of psychically connected, and what happens is because we would be connected to other versions of ourselves, we can see and sort of get a sense for what the outcome would be. So maybe these dark matter, these portals, are like the osmosis that allows consciousness to exist. Because it's the ability to feel through that veil.
Oh, I see. Like maybe that's like the connective tissue between like.
And if we close them all, suddenly we become just like these like paper thin sort of reactionary animals.
We were kind of talking about this a little bit last week at Starbucks with like the
We really should get some
Yeah.
writing done.
I know, but yeah, we were ranting about all kinds of stuff. It was me especially. Got kind of loud. I think I was scaring people, but
It's okay. It's okay.
But we got into this because I was telling him like how like I have like really interesting and weird vivid dreams sometimes, and I feel like in the dreams, I feel like I'm connecting to like myself in alternate universes. Because sometimes I'll like return to places over and over in dreams, but it's not quite the same. It's a place that I haven't been to in my real life here, or it's like a slightly different version. But it feels so real, and I wonder if it's like if the soul is a real thing. Like you've got one soul, but it's in like 10,000 different universes, but it's all you.
Oh, like a multiverse.
And you're all connected. And like maybe when you're in certain states of consciousness, like certain types of sleeping, you can connect to those other yous.
Like REM sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or who knows which.
So I feel
which
like
end of the range it is.
you can't like if you reach a certain level of exhaustion versus starvation. 10 out of 10 times you'll just pass out. Your body needs to sleep more than it needs to eat. It will die of exhaustion before it dies of starvation or dehydration. And people have been like, we don't understand why humans need to sleep. Like a giraffe sleeps 15 minutes twice a day. It literally, like dolphins will put one side of their brain to sleep while the other one's active, and they'll put the other one to sleep while that's active.
Damn.
But humans have to like put themselves down, and they have to go through a whole cycle. And one of the speculations is that we need so much more sleep because we're taking higher concepts and storing them. Like we're actually passing the things that we've thought about and experienced. We're taking it from our conscious experience and passing it to our unconscious mind, which then takes the description and sort of draws these pictures and carves these images to store within ourselves.
That's pretty cool. We're putting it in the Akashic records. We have to upload to the Board Collective.
Yeah, which is effectively our nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, on September 10th, 2001, I had this dream that I was getting onto a gray airplane. And in the dream, I was looking down the aisles, and I was like, oh, good. There's not as many people on as there's supposed to be. I was looking to make sure that people were not on. And I woke up and I had tears coming down my eyes. And then the next day, we know what happens, 9/11. And then I have dreams that I'm seeing these military helicopters fly over, and then we go to war. And they say a lot of people kind of had like premonitions about 9/11, like they didn't go to work that day, or they didn't take the plane that day, or
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people were like, I'm just not going to get on that plane.
Right. Thank God they got the message, and I'm sorry for the ones that didn't. But I don't know, like that just is some type of consciousness that just flows through some people. I guess you got to listen to your gut, but
it's hard.
I would have not known. I would have just thought it was a nightmare. I would have just been.
It's really hard to listen to your gut. I mean, I think that there is a lot of stuff that just comes through that way. Sometimes, it's a recurring theme in my books is to listen to your gut. There's one character named Randy who's like the wizard in training, and he becomes a wizard, and that's mainly his like one of his like mantras, and because he was doing that even before he got formal training and stuff, but he's just like so in touch with like the universe or whatever. But I have that character in there to remind myself of that because I think I'm bad at it. I like kind of suck at that. So.
Well, I'll just when you hear it, don't ignore it. At any time that I've went against my gut instinct, I've regretted it every time. And I was like, well, I knew. There's your lesson. Listen next time. That's all you can do. Well, guys, thank you so much for everything. And we'll edit this up and hopefully it turns out pretty good.
Yep.
Hey, Comic-Con is coming up this weekend.
Yes, it is.
We think it's $35. I'll look it up.
12, yeah. Something like that. 30-ish.
See
And I
ya.
think kids under 11 get it for free.
Oh, kids under 11 for free.
12? Under 12.
Well, I'm sure my nephew will be there.
Yeah.
Cool.